There it is. The holy grail of Christmas gifts, the Rick Scott and Lara Trump combo Florida Senate package.
Ralphie, what would you like for Christmas?
Horrified, I heard myself blurt it out.
I want an official Rick Scott and Lara Trump combo killer Florida Senate package that will shoot your eye out.
Wow, that's great.
Good morning and Merry Christmas, Laura.
Merry Christmas. I am a G. I'm going to agree with that. Can you call Eric Trump and let him know? Remind him just one time on that, Benny, because he needs to be reminded sometimes, you know.
Yes. Oh, I will. I absolutely will. Oh, I'd be happy.
I love the intro.
I said, like, hey, listen, I've seen this woman wear a giant golden Donald Trump necklace.
That's true.
Like, you know, ALX, let's grab the photo. I've seen the necklace. I've seen the kicks. I've seen the Bentley.
And you can, if you can rock something like that, like it kind of means something, Benny, not for nothing, you know.
So, okay, listen, I'm telling all the G's right now, careful shooting these drones down. Now I'm seeing videos of people shooting at the drones. Maybe don't shoot the drones. I don't know. What are these things? Lara Trump, you have existed inside of like the government's protection bubble. You've seen the full capacities of the federal government and the way that they can protect our skies and our borders and our land and our sea. And it's obvious that this isn't a foreign power that's sending this stuff over, because that would be like an act of war. So it's become quite clear, and your father-in-law said yesterday, the government is doing this and they're lying to the American people. What do you think's going on?
Yeah, well, and he said yesterday as well, yeah, they know exactly what's going on. They know where it started, where it took off. They know where it went, and they know where it ended up. And I mean, you're right. I have seen the inside of this to some extent. You mentioned Eric and I had Secret Service protection for 4.5 years. I've seen, you know, the inside of the apparatus from the perspective of a family member of a president. And there's no doubt that we have the best and the brightest in the United States military and you know, all the protective services offered to a president and a first family. And there's no doubt they know what this is. And I think that's what's frustrating to the people of this country. Why can't you just be honest with us? But Benny, they've been lying to us about everything. Remember when they told us that inflation was transitory? Remember when they told us that Joe Biden was fit as a fiddle, running circles around the interns at the White House? Nothing to see here, folks. Remember when they lied about the origins of COVID-19? They have lied and lied and lied and lied to the American people. And it's one of the big reasons I think so many people came out and voted for Donald Trump, because they're like, look, maybe I don't love the delivery method every single time from Donald Trump, although I do personally. I think it's fantastic. But he's going to tell you the truth, and he's going to give it to you straight. And that is all people want at the end of the day. Man, it's frightening to know that we have car-sized drones flying around up above us. Nobody can give us any real explanation for it. I think you're right. I think there's something being hidden. I think ultimately we'll find out what it is. But it is terrible that we cannot trust our federal government. Our taxpayer dollars are going to pay these people's salaries. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, they can't even be honest with us about things we see with our very eyes every single day, Benny. It's outrageous.
I continue to remind the chat that this is how we found out about the Chinese spy balloon. Not because of the government,
Right.
not because the government notified us the first time they caught this Chinese spy balloon, but because some dude was there with a telescope like, what the hell is that?
Yeah, exactly. And it was flying over military bases.
Right.
It was flying over our nuclear sites. This is the kind of thing that make the American people a little bit concerned. And don't forget, nothing happened with that. Remember, they just were like, yeah, so it's floating across the country. No biggie, guys. Nothing to see here. When was Xi Jinping ever questioned about that? When was he ever asked, hey, remember the spy balloon you sent over? What kind of intel did you guys get? And what are you going to do with that information? Everybody just, you know what, look the other way, nothing to see here. It's very frustrating to understand that we have a government operating this way. These are people who are supposed to be in positions of power to protect us, to ensure our safety, to ensure that the adversaries out there and the enemies out there aren't planning something nefarious. And unfortunately, I think more often than not, people are like, yeah, there's probably going to be something bad that happens by way of China or Iran or the terrorist regimes that have built themselves back up thanks to the vacuum left in the Middle East by the Biden exit from Afghanistan. People are concerned, and rightly so. But I have good news, because 35 days from now, ladies and gentlemen, Daddy's home. He's coming back in. He's taking things over, and he's cleaning up the mess. His name's Donald Trump.
Yes. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about that mess. Is something that you just mentioned. January 6th report out today. In fact, breaking at time of show. House Republicans expose January 6th committee's lies, cover-ups, and scandals in new report that was just released. I want to punch on down here to the data that was deleted and also the Cheney cover-up, where the report conclusively states that Liz Cheney worked with one of the key witnesses, somebody that you might have known from the White House, Cassidy Hutchinson. She's an ex-aide to White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows, and Liz Cheney flipped this witness, rewrote her testimony, according to the January 6th report here, and then did so without the advice or consent of a lawyer present. So Liz Cheney kicked out the attorney, and then Cassidy Hutchinson completely changes the story into Orange Hulk, my favorite story of all time. Which I would watch. I would watch the freaking movie, Laura. I'd watch it. Where's the ticket? If Marvel made it, I'd buy it. I'd buy the ticket. Give me the ticket. If you made Orange Hulk and it was Trump that could smash through like the windows, the bulletproof windows.
Yeah, the bulletproof glass.
You're right. That's
right through it.
And Trump,
right through it. No brass knuckles needed. Just bare-fisted.
That's right.
Right through it, grabbing a hold of the steering wheel, turning it, even though the Secret Service agents with machine guns are sitting in front. Yeah, that story. Oh yeah, I'd buy a ticket to that one too. Let me know whenever it's going to run. I'll
Orange
go
Hulk.
with you.
They're bringing Red Hulk back. We have Red Hulk, we have Green Hulk, now we get Orange Hulk, and I'll buy the ticket if you make it about Donald Trump. Anyway, that's the story that she concocted with Liz Cheney. In this report now, please scroll down to one more paragraph here. This report now confirms. Continue, Klein, please. Confirmed a Cheney cover-up. There it is. Okay. This report, scroll up. This report, Cheney cover-up. Scroll down. There you are. Cheney cover-up. There it is. So this report, I want everyone to read it. It's on the Federalist right now. We're looking at the Federalist. This now conclusively states, Barry Loudermouth's like, Cheney freaking did it. Okay? She did it. She broke the law while doing it. Then they deleted all the evidence of her doing it. And this is plainly criminal. What do you think should happen to Liz Cheney?
Wait, Benny, you mean that the January 6th thing wasn't real? You mean that I've been concerned about Donald Trump as a threat to democracy ever since. This thing from the very beginning has been a hot bunch of garbage. The idea that they have tried to force this down the throats of the American people since January of 2021, they thought this was the ticket. Look, they were desperate for anything to happen to make sure that Donald Trump never got back in the White House. The moment they have been dreading, again, we're 35 days away from that moment right now. I can't wait for it. The country can't wait for it. The world, quite frankly, can't wait for it. But they said, you know what we'll do? We will take this thing and we will blow it up out of proportion. We'll ruin people's lives. We'll throw people in jail, regardless of whether or not they did anything. We'll put people on no-fly lists. We will make people admit to things they didn't do because we're the government and we can threaten you and we're the Department of Justice and you should be afraid of us. Everything that has happened with this January 6th nonsense, anyone who did anything illegal ought to be held accountable. And I'm not a legal expert or a legal scholar, but I do know that when you break the law, that means you go to jail and you serve time. What they have perpetrated on the American people by way of this January 6th hoax is absolutely terrible. And it is a stain on our country's history. These people ought to be ashamed of themselves. I know they aren't. So we'll go ahead and shame them. We'll go ahead and make sure they never forget that history recalls every single day from now till forever what these people did and the way they personally and single-handedly tried to destroy this country. Thank goodness God is good and he always shows us. He shines the light in the dark places. This is just the beginning, Benny. If you think this is good, wait till Donald Trump gets in there. Wait till Kash Patel gets in there. Wait till Tulsi Gabbard gets in there. Wait till these people start shining a light in all the dark places that the Democrats and the establishment never wanted us to go. This is another reason people were desperate to have Donald Trump back in the White House.
Boom, shakalaka. Like you're speaking from obviously passionately because you have been a victim of this. Yep. Your husband is arguably the most subpoenaed man on earth, maybe second only to his father. And you've experienced this as a family on a day-to-day, constant, continual basis. Where would you like to see Kash Patel, Pam Bondi? Where would you like to see them start, right? Since you've actually lived it.
Yeah, I have lived it. And, you know, I feel everybody's like, maybe you should write a book one day. I have enough for like so many books at this point, the things that have happened in my life personally, but the things I've been witness to as a member of this family, It's insane. People wouldn't even believe it. You couldn't even write it into a movie script. People would say that's fake. That's not real. Look, I am never a person. I agree with Donald Trump that I think success for our country will be his best revenge. I am not one that is seeking out retribution, but I do believe if you are a person who has done something wrong, improper, broken the law, you know what? We have a great slate of people who want to see the right things happen. We don't want to set a bad precedent for this country. We don't want to politicize things the way the Democrats have. We're the good guys at the end of the day. We're the ones who want to see the right things happen and hold people accountable, of course, if they've done something wrong, but make sure that we reestablish how things are supposed to go in Washington, D.C., what country we are supposed to be, how our founders envision America operating. All the things that have happened over the past 4 years, but really 9 years since Donald Trump came down the escalator in Trump Tower, it's really egregious. And it's a shame that these people felt like they had to go to this length, to try to maintain and retain their power. I think we're going to have a great slate of people. I'm glad you brought up Pam Bondi. I've known Pam Bondi for so long. She is the perfect fit for Attorney General. She's going to do amazing things. And quite frankly, we're going to right the ship. Over the next 4 years, you're going to see the right sort of things start to happen. And I just think that you're going to see more come out. People are going to start being able to trust our government again, trust our agencies again. And it'll be due to, in large part, the people that Donald Trump is bringing to be by his side in Washington, D.C. He's got a great team he's assembled. I hope they all get confirmed by the Senate. And I can't wait. January 20th can't come soon enough. Yes.
And, also, we're very excited for you to be confirmed in the Senate. And it's going to be so exciting. We've already covered that, but we're very excited about it. So this is a problem when you live in a republic and people lie to you, right? Because we're supposed to be shareholders in this country, and when you're lying to the shareholders, that's illegal, actually. You go to jail for that if you're a privately held company. But our government lies to us constantly, and it's always the same thing. They're trying to protect themselves. So whatever's going on with the drones, there's something humiliating. This is the thing I absolutely know. There's something embarrassing that happened that they're trying to cover up or stop from us knowing about. And it's the same thing with the Diddy list. It's the same thing with the Epstein list. There's something humiliating that happened with Bill Clinton. There's something embarrassing that happened to their donors and their friends. And they are using federal agencies to protect them and to cover it up. And so that is why I believe one of the first acts, I mean, it's not because I want to Google it. It's because I actually believe that this is the building block of transparency to build back trust, is releasing the Epstein list, is just saying we don't protect pederasts. Right, in this government, we believe that's not only do we believe it's wrong, it's morally, of course, evil and despicable, but it's also, of course, plainly illegal. So we're not going to protect them, and we're going to tell you about them, and we're going to prosecute when needed. This is like the restoration of the first. It's why I ask everyone, should one of the first acts be the release of the Epstein list and the release of the Diddy list? Now it's
Well, yeah, we need transparency, and we need to know who's been involved in all this stuff. And the irony, Benny, is the things that have been thrown at Donald Trump, the accusations made against him, that this guy's out just for himself. He's getting special treatment because he's some billionaire from New York. He's, a media mogul, and this big businessman. It's all actually the opposite. Those are the people on those lists have been getting special treatment. The establishment people have been getting special treatment because they're part of this whole organization. That's not, to your point, how this country is supposed to operate. We, the people, are actually in charge, and we're the ones who demand to know the answers, and we should get those answers, and it all should come out in the wash, and we need to see everything. We need it laid bare. And this really, look, Donald Trump talks about the golden age of America. You really sometimes have to get back to brass tacks, to bare bones, to take it all back down to almost nothing and really expose it all to rebuild again. And I really feel like that's kind of where we are as a country. There's so many people who've been awakened over the past 4 years and have understood they've been lied to, specifically about Donald Trump and Republicans and what it is we want to do in this country. They're on board now. They want the truth. They want the transparency. Release the list. Give us every name on there. Let's start there. I'm with you on that. I'm happy to see it.
Let's have it. I don't need to. Killer Klein's she's such a G. She's such a G. I don't need to say. It's amazing. The people that hated your father-in-law the very most, Diddy, LeBron James, Ellen, they're the ones fleeing the country. Like
why.
LeBron James, the guy being like, "Oh, I'm not going to play in the NBA anymore. Or maybe I'll join the Chinese league." You know, like he's the guy who's like somehow mysteriously just vanished, or all of a sudden, right?
Yeah.
And they're the people who had such high moral authority and victimhood, complexes with your father-in-law, right? They were always lecturing and always virtue signaling against Donald Trump. And it turns out that they are like they're despicable, truly evil, heinous monsters, these people.
Yeah. Ironic, and it's weird how that works out, isn't it?
Yeah. Donald Trump was the only guy that helped put Jeffrey Epstein in prison, actually. That's a matter of historic fact. So, yeah, that would be amazing. That'd be very fun. What would you like to see happen first day of your father-in-law's new administration? What's the first executive order? Like, what if you were to help reshuffle the folders that are going to be on the Resolute desk? Which one would it be?
Well, I would like to go ahead and reopen the Keystone XL pipeline. That was the first executive order that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris signed when they took over things at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. And that's been so detrimental, really, to the entire country. Monetarily, it drove up inflation. It took away our energy independence. It allowed countries who are our adversaries like Russia and Iran to enrich themselves because we weren't producing oil and we weren't able to do the same things we previously were. I think single-handedly, that was one of the worst acts possible. So my hope would be that would be the first thing Donald Trump reverses day one, minute one, whenever he sits down at the Resolute desk. Let's get that sucker right back open. We know he wants to drill, baby, drill. And then I think he's probably going to turn his attention to the southern border. There were 95 executive orders that the Biden-Harris administration repealed and overturned that secured our southern border. I think Donald Trump will be happy to put those back in place and make sure that we're not selling off for pennies on the dollar parts of our southern border wall, which, by the way, Benny, I went down to Yuma, Arizona. I saw with my own eyes. You have sections of the wall this is how upsetting it is. Literally, you have this beautiful wall built. It's huge. It's insurmountable. You can never get over this thing. It's very well constructed. And then you have like 30-foot sections wide open where people just flow right through. But guess what? The wall is laid down on the ground. All the components are there. All they had to do is stand it up. They refused to do that during the Biden-Harris administration because Joe Biden made a campaign promise and he said, I won't build another foot of Trump's border wall. It's outrageous. It should infuriate every single person in this country. So I have a feeling that day one, that'll be also something that Donald Trump immediately turns his attention to.
Very quickly, since you brought the Keystone XL pipeline, you would need Canada's coordination with that. Turns out Justin Trudeau is having a very tough time, even though he went down to Mar-a-Lago and kissed the ring. And now his entire government's in collapse. Donald Trump called him the governor of the great state of Canada this morning in a True Social post. Which I'm not sure if you write them or not. I don't know. It sounds like a little Laura Trump in there. Your thoughts on our great friends of the North? Any takes on that?
Well, I've seen a lot of posts from friends of mine in Canada who are very excited to have Donald Trump back as the United States president. And I don't think they'd be too upset if we added Canada to the slate of our states here in the U.S. But I think it's in Canada's best interest to work alongside the U.S. And I think Trudeau's got the message. I think his own people are sending him that message very strongly. And so I think they'd probably be ready to play ball on that front if it came down to the Keystone XL pipeline. There's no doubt.
Well, we have proof. If they needed any help being motivated to play ball, we have proof of why you shouldn't make Donald Trump angry. We've actually created live on this show for you, since we talked about it. No, Orange Hulk.
Oh my gosh.
We brought you Orange Hulk, okay? Here we go, Laura.
Ready.
For the first time ever on the program, we have Orange Hulk.
Look at him.
Donald.
He looks great.
He does look great.
I keep saying, and I'm not even kidding, for some, usually you have presidents, whenever you go in the White House, it's so stressful. There's so much that you have to personally endure when you're president that most people age significantly and they look a lot worse for the wear when they come out. Donald Trump is the opposite. I'm always like, why do you look better now than when I met you 16 years ago? And there he is. That's the next iteration of Donald Trump. There he is, the Orange Hulk. I love that. He looks great.
We have Donald Trump like fighting the fighting his way out of the car right here. I mean, don't worry, we've got it. I mean, we've got it. Just
there it is.
Let's let her go. Yeah. So
yeah. Nice, Liz.
Yep,
great job.
Good job.
She did it. We did it, Joe.
Good job. Great job. Thank you for your testimony, January 6th committee. We're glad we got this special footage of Trump fighting his way out of the car. Final parting message to Kamala Harris. She's got like 25 days left. So any parting message, since you were so critical in delivering this exciting Christmas present for all of us?
It is, and we are saying Merry Christmas again. That's back. 4 years ago we were saying it, and then Joe and Kamala took over. Remember, she was a little queasy on that. Not sure if we're going to say it. We're saying Merry Christmas again, Benny. That's official. It's happening again. Thank you, Donald Trump, for that. I'm just going to say you're welcome to Kamala Harris, because I have a hunch, Benny, that whenever they came to her and they were like, that's it, we got to get Joe out of here. Like, this guy is really just tanking. He's dragging everybody down. There's no way we're going to win anything with this guy in. You're up to bat. And she's like, oh, I don't know. I don't know how I'm going to be able to do this. I actually deep down believe she was terrified to be president, because she had no idea what the heck to do, what this was going to look like, how she was going to make this work. So you're welcome is what I'll say to Kamala Harris. And even though I don't believe she voted for Donald Trump, although I kind of think that Joe and Jill may have in that MAGA red suit Joe was wearing, even though you didn't vote for Donald Trump, Kamala, will be a president for you. And I'm going to guarantee you something, your life, even as Kamala Harris, is going to be a lot better thanks to Donald J. Trump being back as our 47th president. So you're welcome.
In conclusion, all of our lives will be a lot better if she decides to run in 2028. Please, Kamala, run in 2028. Please. We beg of you. You have our full endorsement. I know, it's crazy.
She's the best they got. That's what they say. She's right at the top there, Benny. God bless them.
Here's Laura Trump's ex. Of course, you already follow her. And also here's Laura Trump proof that she wears the giant MAGA chain right there.
Oh, yeah,
there it is. Amazing.
I do all right with that.
Follow Laura Trump. 2 million Americans can't be wrong. And Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Thank you to everyone.